3, 2, 1.
Welcome, gamers.
This is the World Builder Club, an exclusive club that anyone can join, and where you will learn to hone your skills as a game master or fantasy world builder of any kind through mini writing challenges.
You will learn.
You have to
You
learn.
will.
That's the mandatory, obligatory
Those
part
are the
of this.
rules.
And so last month, we prompted you all with creating a mystical metal. But before we read that prompt, I want to remind you that there will be a link below here with the prompt for the month of March, describing what you will be forced to create, as well as asking for your descriptions of your campaign. So I realized we didn't introduce ourselves, but my co-host, Grace World Destroyer, can also advise on how to add some chaos to your campaign. And last thing before I read our February prompt here and we start recapping, we do have an ongoing Kickstarter right now called Under the Shadow of Hellfast Spire, a Shadow Dark adventure, hex crawl, dungeon, bunch of little stuff all thrown in there, monsters and magic items and whatnot. Okay, we're ready to go. Think of Tolkien's Mithril, or Marvel's Adamantium, or Hexeron for the die-hard Bob World Builder fans of my fantasy setting, Scrim. Write 3 to 5 sentences describing your mystical metal and 1 to 3 properties. Can be terse or incomplete sentences. The properties should apply to armor, weapons, magic items, or other mundane items forged from this metal, or to the raw material itself. Can be system neutral or for any RPG of your choice. Submit it here. And now we got over 20 awesome responses. A lot of people also following the instructions to give feedback to each other, which is awesome to see. And we're going to kick it off with the first reply.
Kick it off!
From Fly Merrick, who just wrote the hyphenated word bubble metal. And then replied and said, I didn't mean to press send, but it's hilarious now, so I'll just leave this here. You guys have a mission to turn it into a proper entry. What are your initial thoughts on that?
I just picture, like, a metal that bubbles.
Oh,
like
okay.
It's always fizzing.
All right.
And it's kind of
Undergoing
gross.
some chemical reaction,
Yeah.
but I guess a magical one. Yeah, my reply to this comment was, my take would be that it's ultra light, maybe slippery, like a lot of our submitted magic scrolls happened to be last month, and translucent when wet. But then we got another reply to that comment from Weird Guy, who said, bubble metal, the ancient and lost craft of the My Little Ponies. Once a warrior race, until the Battle of Nightmare Moon, they were clad in the translucent brilliance of the mystical material. The art of its craft was lost to time as the ponies began to rely more on magic than steel, and eventually on love more than war. None in Ponyville, even Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, remember bubble metal's true properties.
I guess only, like, Discord remembers bubble metal's true properties. I think Discord is the only thing that's older than Celestia and, well, not, what's her actual name? It's Luna.
Hey, out of 1,000 or so people who might see this, you know who you are. Who in the My Little Pony universe?
Come out, bronies. Come out here.
We know you're there. I guess Weird Guy could be one of them. Okay. Another metal submission. Oh, how do we spell this one? Or how do we pronounce this one? But from Nathan Avispa. Calornium. From calor, which is heat in Latin, and neum for every metal suffix in the periodic table. I actually replaced Chardolin by this metal in my Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. Okay. Yeah, I remember Chardolin a little bit. So they wrote a pale black metal with minuscule white crystalline formation evenly spread throughout. It can be worked just like steel. I'm not cutting that, but I'm going to restart reading it. A pale black metal with minuscule white crystalline formation evenly spread throughout.
Is pale
it can be
black
worked
just gray?
That's a good question. That slipped my mind here, but I remember noticing it when I was reading this the first time. They said it can be worked just like steel would, with the only exception being it weighs less than air when continually heated under a flame, and double when frozen. When hot, the color changes to a shiny glass homogeneous gray. So, example effects: a weapon made of colonium loses its heavy and two-handed properties if set on fire, or gains them if used in freezing temperatures. Paired with a ring of warmth, an armor made of colonium loses its strength requirements. They gain them if in frozen wastelands.
So, okay, it weighs less
when it's
than
hot.
air.
Yeah, so it could float when it's hot, and it's very dense when it's cold.
It would have to be really sharp then in order to deal damage. I mean, I'm trying to apply like real world physics to a fantasy metal, but,
Right.
but also you would think like, okay, so it gets doubly as heavy when it is cold.
Mm-hmm.
So shouldn't that double the strength requirement to wear it?
I think...
Or does it just weigh twice as much as air, which is still almost nothing?
No, double whatever its room temperature weight is.
Okay,
I think.
yeah, so it should require twice.
Maybe that was flipped.
Which that's interesting because that would be very difficult to use in Icewind Dale. You would have to constantly be on fire.
True. My comment to this was, love the potential here. Being able to essentially levitate the metal itself or things in on it has lots of cool world building implications.
Yeah.
Because that's just like add heat. Now you instantly have an elevator, or just can get this metal somewhere you otherwise wouldn't be able to get it to very easily if it were any regular metal. And I guess being able to like sink stuff could also be useful if you're able to cool it, but that would probably be difficult unless you have access to some kind of like ice magic.
Yeah, Ray of Frost. That's cantrip, baby.
But some other people said, from Slit518, very evocative. I like the way the hot and cold affects its properties. I do feel like it's a bit lore heavy, but nonetheless, weighing less than air and the shiny glass look are cool. What did this other person say? This is super cool, LOL. I like how it has the utility in construction with an elevator. Okay, I think we're all on the same page here. So, very neat idea.
So I could be just like surfing around on my broadsword.
If it's somehow staying hot.
So I have to light it on fire and then I can surf around on it.
And you also need a way to like direct it. You probably need to be like rowing somehow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or what if it's just really windy? Or I put a fan on the back.
Right, you need a sail.
There you go. I do a Tears of the Kingdom ultra hand glue.
Yeah. Well, what's powering the fan? How do those work in Tears of the Kingdom?
You just have batteries on your waist and everything is kind of powered in a certain radius
so just
around
do that.
you.
Perfect.
Yep, perfect.
From Weird Guy, Null Steel. This blue-white alloy came about by infusing anti-magic...
You say Knowles?
N-U-L.
Oh.
Infusing anti-magic into the smelting process of the Thane Smiths of the Mithril Empire. Some argue the magical quality of this metal nullifies any magic exposed to it. Armor made from Null Steel is highly sought after by those who do not wield such magics, while weapons forged in Null Steel leave lasting effects on magic users beyond the physical. So for armor, it reduces all magical damage to its minimum possible damage, and shields reduce all incoming magical damage by 1 die of the damage die rolled. Weapons, magic users struck by a Null Steel weapon reduce each spell die by 2 until they are restored to their maximum hit points.
I actually did something similar to this once. Except mine wasn't a metal, it was the scales of a dragon that had become the avatar of the god of destruction, or the god of nothingness.
Okay, I like that. It also sounds like it would even have had a similar name.
Yeah, my players hated it because people wearing this armor or using these weapons could just delete their spells out of thin air.
It is a little bit like... So when I first read this, I was like, this is awesome. I said, cool name, cool description, cool properties. It's an awesome system neutral effect, but at the same time, it is kind of like a counterspell sort of thing.
Well, what I did is like they can only do it a certain number of times, and they have to use like a bonus action to do it. So it's not just like you are constantly immune to magic. It just gave them an ability.
All right, I'm seeing we also had our suggestion for introducing chaos from Weird Guy, but we're going to save that until our second half. Probably a much shorter segment of the video, but we'll see. Next metal suggestion from Slit518. Arcanium. This deep black metal, veiled.
Come on, someone give me a rainbow metal. They're all black and gray.
And gold specks sparkling off it. We got some flavor here.
Okay.
Emanates with magic, and if one tunes in closely, they can hear its low vibrational hum. Though no mineable veins appear to exist, this metal seems to appear where large, catastrophic magical anomalies have occurred. Weapons forged of this magical metal produce a minor magical effect on a successful strike. Armor made from arcanium inflicts minor magical effects on those who attack the wearer. Items that use the metal in their composition, such as a watch, music box, or other such items, do not wear down over time with use. And it says magical effects are up to the GM based on the system they may be playing.
So it's the opposite of null steel.
It kind of is, yeah. I wonder if this was another thing that exists in the game that this guy's working on, or if that was literally just inspired by one of the previous comments here. I'm also seeing that, Null Steel had one other thing I forgot to read. It was typically reserved for the honor guard of this setting, but awarded to legendary warriors as a reward from the Thane, otherwise considered priceless. In any case, what did I have to say here? I like that this arcanium is a byproduct of magical phenomena. Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting. Like, it doesn't just exist naturally on its own. That really makes it magical to me. Because even stuff like Mithril, a lot of the stuff that I've prompted about here, it is just a real material. It doesn't have to be forged a certain way or created a certain way, but this is alien in itself, and I like that idea. Any thoughts?
If you cast Fireball in a place enough times, does it create this metal?
That's a good question. I guess people would be trying to create it by specifically doing a lot of chaotic magic all at once.
So it kind of seems like it happens in a place where there has been a big magical event. So probably not just casting the same spell over and over, but more like a major ritual, some kind of ascension, or...
Well, and it makes you wonder, though, it's like, how much crazy spellcasting do you need to create any of it? Maybe it's like particles will form from any casting or something, and then you can find a way to collect and refine those.
Or maybe it only affects whatever veins of metal are present in the area, and it kind of infuses. So you can have different types of this metal. You can have it gold or iron or whatever, and then
rainbow.
Or rainbow. If you already have a rainbow metal that exists in your world.
Now this one could potentially be dyed to be a rainbow metal, I think, from KJEGORY. This isn't technically a metal, but I will submit it anyway because I created it as part of my homebrew setting. Stone sap. People have often come across a certain viscous, acrid, and flammable black ichor that seeps out of the ground and poisons the local wildlife.
We love a viscous ichor.
However, after years of complex arcane experimentation, they were able to transform it into a smooth, cloudy, translucent material that melts like tree resin, is as light as wood, and is as workable and durable as any common metal. When crafted into armor, there is no minimum strength required to effectively wear it. In addition, both fey creatures and druids can freely wear this armor or wield weapons made of this material, as it contains no metal.
Yeah, that's very useful. Usually I go to you can wear bone stuff as a druid, but that's cool, like an amber kind of thing.
Yeah, I like the idea of amber, but now I'm going to give away what my gut reaction to this was. I wrote, okay, I can't tell if this is an intentional, describe this modern thing in a fantasy context, but this is plastic right?
Oh.
Yeah, and they did kind of confirm that later on, it seems. But yeah, because I think I had even prompted like just looking around for normal materials to help inspire you, but they had also said that this was a part of their own setting.
Yeah, but plastic isn't that strong as a armor.
That's what like athletes wear. I don't know what Kevlar's technically made of,
Okay.
but
I
yeah,
guess it
like
can be
super
made
hard
that
enough
strong if
plastic.
you do it
Yeah,
the
it's
right way.
again, if it's we're
I don't
talking about
know if
like
a
blunt
football
metal
helmet
weapons.
can stand up against a sword for that long, but
Yeah, I agree. Um, and what did they say here? Yeah, it could be highly combustible. Like I'm looking at replies. Loved it, and the reveal only made it better. Do you think it could have some disadvantages, such as being highly combustible or even poisonous due to the chemicals? Um,
oh no, fill your fantasy world with microplastics?
yeah, I mean,
Don't do
if it's
that.
armor or weapons, things are going to be chipping off of it all the time.
No.
From a purely world building angle, the idea of normal in our world materials, oh yeah, being rediscovered. Okay, so we're all on the same page there, I think. Here we have from Charlie Johnson, who created nitine. The ore from which nitine is smelted is extracted from the ground at great peril, as it is formed from the chemical reactions between two highly toxic minerals that have been struck by lightning. The smelting process is complicated, particular, and so extensive that the most reliable accounts of the history of this metal begin with the nitine sword being gifted to humanity by one of the gods. Accounts differ as to which. Despite its original form, however, nitine is not typically used to make swords. In addition to its rarity, it possesses non-Newtonian properties that result in the micron-thick outer layer of the blade violently shattering and spewing tiny shards of metal from the site of a sufficient impact. Most modern uses for nitine are in temporary adjustable alloys, but pure nitine is sometimes incorporated into fine jewelry because of its luminous white appearance.
So as a weapon, it's a single use because it explodes?
I think so. That is
Is
how
it?
I
Okay.
interpreted this as well with my reply.
So like a grenade.
Yeah. And I was it kind of reminded me of like fiberglass or something, I guess. Um, but that would be, yeah, more kinetic as it actually pops in a sense. That's all I got for that one. Okay. We have Tom Remetal. Oh, well, okay, from Ryan Matthews. Tom Remetal. But it's another black one. Should we skip this?
Nah.
No, we're already started. Veins of this black, brittle, crumbly substance can only be found in frigid regions. It is often located by the unusually cold temperature the closer you get to a vein. I did like that one. You like sense it by it creating an artificial cold. Being brittle, it is often incredibly hazardous to mine, since contact with the raw ore or even the briefest of time will force a con save versus death. So
Wow.
I guess you can breathe it in. In order to be workable, the raw ore must be alloyed with the purest silver, using magical fire to combine them. Once combined, the resulting workable metal is soft and malleable jet black metal that can be worked into runic chasings on arms and armor. The runes will always be cold to the touch, pulling heat from the immediate vicinity. Depending on the runic preparation, it can also be used to produce protection from fire or added cold damage. This is how Frostbrand blades are constructed. Any armor or weapon so treated will automatically save if heat metal is cast upon it. My reply was, the save versus death is crazy. Love to see when people get bold with these prompts.
So it's when wait, when you're mining it, you have to do a death save, or
Yes, the raw material
oh.
only.
Well, I guess you better use your personal protective equipment.
Yep. Our little HR representative reminder there. Okay.
Remember the 3 checks for safety. Wait, what's the first one? Do I know how to do the job? Do I have the right equipment? Is my environment safe? The answer to all 3 of those questions would be no when working on this metal.
Anyone else in the comments know the 3 checks for safety? Is it the same person who knows the My Little Pony facts? Who knows?
Do I just share lore with Weird Guy?
Okay. From Mark P. Necrylium. And this is where I had stopped reading. I got way too busy with this Kickstarter, and I couldn't get back to any of these replies, I think. So this is where I'm excited to continue and discover what else was commented here. Necrylium. It is said that necrylium is only found in the graveyard of great battles, harvested from the remains of bones that were crushed and splintered by blessed weapons. The tiny shards are scraped from the decayed bones where the final death blow was landed. It can take as many as 100 bodies to gather enough to forge into a small round pebble. When the pebble is held strung from the end of a silver jeweler's chain, it will react if any undead creatures are within 100 feet, pulling in their direction as if magnetically drawn to death itself.
I would want to know why this happens in this world. Any creature that dies creates this metal in their bone. Well, okay,
if it's killed by a blessed weapon, yeah. So it's something about, I'm just imagining, divine or holy magic somehow being infused to the dead or attracted to it. I mean, and normally you do think of it as like turn undead, so like repelling, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. I always love this kind of happened with last month's fist-to-face magnetic attraction of the stone or whatever. It was like stones in a glove that can be used in whatever. Anything that draws on magnetism to me, for some reason, is always interesting because I feel like in official materials it does not come up very often. Okay. From Benjamin Reynolds. Oh, wait, no. Benjamin Reynolds was literally just asking where to find print copies of my books, and I only replied to him this morning. So thank you for your patience, Ben. It's through this Kickstarter for anyone else who's wondering. Okay. Olympian Nerd, oh my god, another black metal, said Knight's Rock, an obsidian black material that feels of velvet to the touch. Velvety metal. This material is resistant to scrying magic, causing many a rogue to create small accessories out of it to avoid detection while infuriating magical vaults. Maybe they meant to say infiltrating there. When forged to the bottom of boots, this material also muffles sound, increasing stealth.
So this is what you use to add a stealth enchantment to your boots in Skyrim or Oblivion.
Yeah, and I like that. That maybe it's, these metals don't have to be wholly original, but more like explanatory for effects that we're already familiar with. Like, is this what boots of Elvenkind have in them?
So is Knight a person and these are their rocks?
That's a good world building question. And now I see
Knight's Rock.
Following the instructions. We got a positive comment here from Robit. I don't actually know how to pronounce his username, but one of our guys very active in the Discord, and he said, looks like we had a similar idea. This would make Thieves Guilds a lot of gold. And then his is the very next post, so they were probably writing this like at the same time. Umbranite, a rare jet black metal, absorbs all light and sound. Armor made from Umbranite is a staple of Shadow Dancers and Darkness Domain clerics, being light and silent, while weapons made of this Umbranite can be larger, while still allowing dexterous individuals to wield them easily. This comes at a cost. Particularly hard hits seem to cause extra damage to those who use Umbranite and put weapons at risk of breaking when poor attacks are made. So maybe, can shatter on a natural one or something. Oh yeah, and they do have properties here. Yeah, swords made of Umbranite, ... This comes at a 10% chance of the weapon breaking on a roll of natural 1 or 2. But they do mention improving stealth tech, I think, here.
So, wait, what are the benefits of this again?
Sorry, I'm kind of like breezing over it, because it does appear similar to the previous one. Swords of Umbranite can be one size larger while still using dexterity as the main stat and don't make sound, allowing stealth attacks to occur without alerting people not directly near the attacker.
One size larger, so you just have a big dagger?
So you could have like a heavy weapon that would count as normal, or a normal weapon that would count as light, is my interpretation of this. Armor made of Umbranite.
Big sword.
Exactly. Armor made of Umbranite grants advantage on stealth checks regardless of armor size, but incur extra dice of damage on a natural attack roll against the user of 19 or 20. So if you're hit with a crit or even a 19, you'll take extra damage. All right. I'm tempted to just skip around and look for a colorful metal now to see if anybody did it. Here's one, sort of, maybe, from Aaron A. Corbett, who wrote, Aurichalcum, an opalescent metallic dust found in the marrow of corpses of the dead gods that litter the astral plane. This metal acts as a catalyst, and when mixed with various formulae, allows mortals to cast magic spells, albeit with unpredictable efficacy. May also be used in formulae added to weapons and armor to imbue them with magical properties. Spells function as DCC spells.
So, like, Blood of Dead Gods, that's like Essentia from the Drylands setting of Daggerheart.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that, I like the grand scale of that one as well.
Yeah, so you can only mine it in the astral plane. That's cool.
Okay. I'm just like skipping through a bunch of them now. Because also what happened on this one, if anybody watched the last video, we talked about one of the comments had been hidden for some reason by Patreon. And it had, nothing like weird in it. That happened to 3 comments on this one. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it is unrelated. And now we're getting into these very long ones here. I'm just going to read the last comment on the post. So here we go. From Adam K. Thompson, Living Bone. Hardened and yellowed bone magically forged by infernal wizards using bone harvested from a living humanoid. It imbues any object created with it a species-related characteristic of the individual donor it was harvested from.
Donor.
Yeah. But only while the donor is still alive.
Oh.
In addition, the donor is linked psychically with the living bone, allowing them to always know its location. The donor can also use the send spell to communicate with the creature that possesses the living bone object once per day.
Okay, so it sounds like you actually are a donor, but this is something that I feel like an evil wizard would give to their servants.
Okay.
To, like, give them an ability, but also keep an eye on them and know where they are and what they're doing at all times.
So the evil wizard would, like, cut off one of their own feet or something.
Yeah,
and
so
give a bunch of toes to people.
The evil wizard is like, like an elf. It's like, I want all my servants to have dark vision. And so they give up some of their bones. They have magical ways of creating prosthetics for themselves or whatever. And they give, like, a little bone dagger to all of their followers. And they can watch them through the bone dagger.
Yeah, I do like that.
Be like, I didn't tell you could take a lunch break.
And foot was just the first thing that came to mind, but I think that's like a real thing, that like your feet have like way more bones in them than most other limbs on your body.
I mean, I think it has the same number of bones as your hand, because feet are just hands.
I don't think that's true.
Feet are hands.
All right, well, that was a bunch of these. That was probably like half of the responses, and a lot of the remaining ones are very, very long. Now, that is not the responders' fault. I think I need to impose a tighter limit on whatever our next month's prompt will be.
People just like to talk about their lore, and that's cool.
They do. All right, so now I think we will actually have our one cut pause in the video, whatever, and then we'll come back and do Grace World Destroyer Chaos Time.
But the wizard's gonna yell at us for taking a break.
Yeah, well. Break time's over, says the wizard.
Yeah, the wizard told us to get back to work.
Forget your protective equipment. It's time to go chaos mode.
I have the right to say no to any work that is not safe to me.
All right. So we had 2 suggested, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess they're still just prompts.
Submissions.
2 submissions. That's great. For Grace, World Destroyer here, for how to take this information from their campaign, from their ongoing game, and spice it up a little bit.
Just knock it up a notch.
So, the first one is a reply on the YouTube video itself. So potentially like where you're watching this now, that is a fine place to reply to these. I think I even said to make these submissions on the YouTube video. Do what you want. You can also do it on the Patreon post for this month. In any case, we have Malkuth, who said, "It's nice to see Lady World Destroyer back on her throne for the podcasts.
Hi.
Now, unfortunately, I'm just a lowly player, but there is enough chaos in it for us. But for the engagement, and if someone wants a good laugh or facepalm, let's go. Our de facto party leader is a dwarf monk with a criminal background who came back to the capital of Blackstone to find her childhood friend who had joined a gang run by a Rakshasa. We have had an elf soul knife rogue who we don't know what their deal is, but at the end of session 3 killed the childhood friend of the monk in a bar fight, and a notorious doctor who is genetically mutating people has been gathering all the corpses from the rogue's killing to figure out a way to negate psychic damage. We have an Aasimar blood hunter, who is an escaped genetic experiment of said previous doctor, who gave away their healing hands ability to some kind of fae in return for a magic sword that the DM keeps track of how many creatures it has killed. And then there is my character, a human cleric of a long-dead god of war on a quest to bring back a lord's daughter. However, in session 1, he died, but the GM decided to spare him with consequences, that being Bloodthorn Curse. Something very much like lycanthropy, but can happen whenever. He is also marked by that Rakshasa mob boss, which allows the Rakshasa to see and hear everything that my character sees and hears. Oh, and we do believe has the Lord's daughter as collateral. So, you know, a regular D&D campaign. Laughing smiley face.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to give advice if you're the player, you know, because you don't really know what all the details are. Like, what is this sword? Why is
the Rakshasa's deal?
Yeah, what's the Rakshasa? Well, Rakshasas are just going to Rakshas. So, yeah, it probably does have the daughter. But if it were me as the DM, I would probably be like, okay, this Fae sword is doing something, maybe creating a situation in which this Fae Lord can manifest in the material plane, or, I don't know, once it kills enough people, maybe it takes... Well, Fae don't really take souls that much.
He's counting how many people it has killed.
Yeah, but I would say, like, the Rakshasa now seeing through the eyes of, what was it, the knight?
The cleric.
The cleric.
Because of this curse that they have from dying.
Sees this sword, and the Rakshasa knows what the sword is. So now the Rakshasa wants the sword.
Maybe they would trade it for the daughter.
Yeah, maybe they would. Who knows? But maybe they have the daughter for some other nefarious purpose. Maybe the daughter is actually like a witch.
She's Baba Yaga, right?
Yeah, she's Baba Yaga. She's going to take your hands. But maybe the daughter is there voluntarily, actually.
Ever think about that? Okay. We had one other suggestion from Weird Guy, a lot shorter. So it says, "For Grace, I'm about to start a Shadow Dark game with the survivors of a gauntlet run," meaning a level 0 adventure. 2 goblins who are pirates named Dent and Gluck. Do your worst. I can take it. I have nothing written beyond the opening town where the gauntlet session took place.
Okay, so pirates. Probably going to be looking for a ship, or will at least encounter a body of water at some point. So I would have them encounter a little dinghy, like a shitty little ship that is sentient. So it sends these goblin pirates a psychic message that says, like, if you feed me your booty and plunder.
Right, because it can sense their desperation.
Yeah, it can sense their desperation and their little, goblin hearts that crave shiny things. If they bring this little dinghy gold, it'll start to grow into a more powerful ship.
Cuts out the middleman of like buying new ships over time.
Yeah. So it just grows. And if they doubt the ship, if they just like toss it a gold coin, maybe it, you know, it is engulfed in black flames and the paint job is improved and the sail doesn't have holes in it anymore. So it does show that like over time it can become this fearsome galleon pirate vessel. And it has the benefit of, because it's sentient, it can sail itself, because there's only two little goblin pirates. They can't sail a whole ship on their own, and it saves them the trouble of having to go and get a crew.
Wow.
But then over time, as they're feeding this ship gold, what they're really doing is reconstituting the soul of a demon pirate. And eventually the demon pirate will be able to manifest and take over the ship.
Yeah.
And claim the souls of these goblins as their eternal
crew. Or something. Yeah.
The goblins probably don't want that. So of course they have to fight back against the ship and the demon pirate. And then once they've killed the demon pirate, all the gold that they fed the ship
gets spat back
out at them. So they have all this money, but they probably have to go buy a new ship at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like just an incredible magic item.
Yeah.
You know, feed this boat gold and it will become this more powerful boat, and it's self-propelled and all that, but it is also a cursed item possessed by this pirate lord of days gone by.
Yep.
Who will once it reaches that final stage, will take over it unless you can defeat them. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Well, those were our only 2 suggestions for the chaos portion. So if you want more amazing ideas like that, you gotta leave a comment telling us about your campaign.
Give me more.
Yeah, more gold so she can reach her final form. All right. I don't remember how I ended this last time, besides to say, check out the links below for the Patreon post for this month of March, our new World Builder Challenge prompt thing, and leave us a good submission there as well as for the chaos portion. Thank you for watching, and keep building.
Stop building.